My name's Josh Lindemood, 26 years old. I live in Lynchburg, Virginia. I am hiking the Appalachian Trail this season, northbound from Georgia to Maine. It goes through 14 states. I'm doing so as a trail chaplain, sponsored by the Holston Conference of the United Methodist Church. And my mission is just to be out there for the hikers, is to spread the good word, to be a Christian influence on the trail, to help other hikers in need, and to not so much approach hikers, but to be approachable.
I know most people think of the Appalachian Trail as a solitary wilderness, but for me it's a legitimate community. It's an unreached community. If we knew of a city or town within our bounds that was unrepresented by the United Methodist Church, that we would move heaven and earth to establish a church there, to plant a church and to appoint a pastor there. And I would like to see us approach the Appalachian Trail as that sort of community, as a people deserving of the same services that we would offer to any other community within our bounds. Its length is 2,185 miles or thereabouts, and its width is just maybe 100 yards. But within those bounds, there is a people on the move, by and large a people at a crossroads in life. Some are young people perhaps just graduating from college and wondering how to spend their lives. Others are people who have just retired and are wondering how to spend the rest of their lives, and they have come to the trail to find time and space to work out those problems. Some people come after a faith-shaking experience perhaps, or a time of questioning. There are those who have come to the trail to find answers from God as to why this or that has happened in life, why a loved one has been lost. And so people seek each other there and seek community even in the wilderness.
And what you would think is that the younger people want to stay only with the younger people. The retirees want to stay only with the retirees. And the ones that are in the career age range really wouldn't want anything to do with the other two extremes at all. That's not what you find. You find when you get out there, you're all hikers. You're all doing the same effort. You're all trying to accomplish the same thing. You all have the same goals and same objectives. And you bond with each other. And relationships form very quickly. Some of my closest relationships I've made on the trail have been with people who are in their early 20s, mid-20s. We became friends, we've stayed in contact, and we're in contact even to this day over a year later. We share highs and lows in our life, and you make relationships very quickly, and what I have found is that they last a long time. I expect the same kind of thing to happen this year. I expect again this year on the trail that I'm going to have people in their 20s come ask me about things, and people who are in their 60s and 70s are going to be telling me things. And it's going to be not a generational type thing. It's going to be hiker to hiker type thing. And the other thing is, it's not all guys that are out here hiking. Probably 30% of the people we find on the trail are females. And we all are in this together. We're all experiencing the trail together, and we're all experiencing the highs and the lows of the trails together.
One of the initial goals that we had for our chaplain was to have a presence of the United Methodist Church, a Christian presence on the Appalachian Trail, especially for those who are sojourning together on the Appalachian Trail. But anyone who goes out on the trail, they all have a purpose for hiking. To enjoy God's beauty, they're looking for a purpose, they're looking for a quest as they sojourn with other hikers. So we as the United Methodist Church, we're always interested in partnering with people as they go through life's transitions. And one of the ways that we can do that is to place a chaplain in a community that is mobile, that starts in Springer Mountain, Georgia in the spring, and they walk together throughout the rest of the year. And for us to have that as a mobile church is something that I believe the United Methodist Church can do. And here at Holston Conference, we're pioneers in this effort of reaching people that are on the Appalachian Trail.
It is a unique incarnational mission that I believe that as more and more people seem to be attracted to the Appalachian Trail experience, that it is a community that needs to be served. The body of Christ needs to be there. We know it's there in terms of believers who are moving along, but just like every believer is gifted and called to do something different, I believe that there are people whom we've already encountered who sense a call to use this experience in a way that seeks and serves others in the name of Jesus Christ.
I want to set a good example, and I want people to see Christ through me and through the way I'm hiking and through the way I'm living on the trail. And that's one thing that excites me is my growth alone, and trying to help others in their quest and with their growth. Another thing that really excites me about this is I'm 26 and really looking forward to talking to people that are my age, and really looking forward to ministering to them. Not so much, a lot of times when a younger person sees an older person and hears them talking about religion or ministry, they feel preached to, or looked down upon. And I think people my age stray from the church and stray from religion and stray from just God in general for many reasons, and that being one of them. So I think that me being out there and being a fellow hiker, a fellow thru hiker, I can help spread the love of Christ.
I think having a chaplain on the trail enabled thru hikers to meet and become acquainted with someone who was eager to talk with them about any issue that might be on their mind, including spiritual issues. I think it was important for them to see the chaplain not as somebody who was just on the trail to provide those services, but as someone who, like them, was an authentic thru hiker. And this is what Josh provided.
I think that being, in tune with God and listening to Him speak, He gives us opportunities to minister and to spread His word. That happens just about daily. I pray a lot about that. I pray that the opportunity, that He sees fit for me to present itself, so that I may be able to minister to other hikers, or to people off the trail, either one. And I've gotten several opportunities, like with the food. And there was one hiker that didn't have enough food to get through the Smokies, like a 4 or 5 day supply. And he had heard from the other guy that I had food. Well, I don't have 30 people follow me around for food, but he had heard that, and so I wanted to help him out, and was able to again. And I had a drop there in Fontana Dam, so I brought him into the room, into the hotel there, and I said, hey, I got enough to get us both through the Smokies if you're interested. And he said, absolutely. And really got to talking to him and found out, he'd lost his wife to breast cancer a few years back. And he was hiking the trail, was completely unhappy with the direction his life was going in. And, the Lord just opened up that opportunity for me to minister to him and to help him out, even if it was just for food.
St. Francis of Assisi says this, and as I was reading this, I understood what Josh, our chaplain in 2013, was doing, and what Dave, our chaplain in 2014, will be doing when I read this about St. Francis. He says, "It is no use walking anywhere to preach if your walking is not your preaching." And our chaplains are able to do this particular type of ministry, is they are walking, sharing their lives with other people and the gospel of God. That's right out of the Bible from 1 Thessalonians.
It's wonderful that the Methodist Church has places along the way to help the hikers out as they go. But this person hiking along with them will actually add an extra kind of help out a person who's right there on the trail with them to be there when they need it, the moment they need it, not just occasionally along the trail, but the whole time. He's right there with them, walking with them in their shoes, doing what they're doing, feeling their pain the whole way, and also will be able to help them out because it kind of knows the trail, so to say, as they're going.
I believe that it will be through efforts of this sort that enter the mainstream of life that make a difference for God's kingdom. I think that people will need to know who we are, and the way that they know who we are is that we join them where they are. Josh is to represent the church to hikers and to represent Christ to hikers. If he touches lives in a way that we can't on a local level, then he has succeeded in his ministry and in his efforts.
Wilderness is a spiritual necessity. It's an antidote to the high pressure of modern life. It's a means of regaining serenity and equilibrium. I have found that people go to the wilderness for many things, but the most important of these is perspective. They may think they go for the fishing or the scenery or companionship, but in reality, it's something much deeper. They go to the wilderness for the good of their souls.
The wilderness has played a very important role, and hiking and communing with God in the wilderness helped me through a very difficult time. I didn't realize at the time that hiking was going to become a passion for me, but it has become a passion. And over 5 years, I've hiked over 5,000 miles, including the complete transverse of the Appalachian Trail in 2011 and 12, and finishing, starting at Springer Mountain in Georgia and finishing at Katahdin in Maine in September of last year. That has prepared me physically. The time in the wilderness and the private time I've had with God in the wilderness has allowed me to better understand myself and better understand what my role in relationships with other people should be and is.
Well, I would encourage investment in this ministry because it's an outreach to a community of folks that may or may not, that the church may or may not be reaching out to now. They have needs just like we all have. They have physical and needs, they have spiritual needs. Many are on a spiritual quest, it seems to me, to acquaint their lives with the living Creator, and an opportunity to reach out in the name of Christ doesn't come like this every day. I think this is a unique opportunity to extend the love of Christ to a community that I think is a receptive community, a community in need to know that they are loved by God and that they can respond to that love. So
I think it's a worthy cause to contribute to, and it couldn't happen without folks sharing. Probably folks who couldn't ever hike on the trail, but who understand that this community is out there walking for a purpose, and I think connecting them with God and loving community is critical.
I've certainly encouraged people and would encourage any pastor to consider supporting this ministry. I know that pastors get requests to support numerous ministries, all of which are very valuable and very significant, but I hope that this is not overlooked, that this ministry, which is something relatively new and which we hope will continue across the years, is something that other pastors and churches or groups within churches would be willing to support.
This mission is funded by people who see the vision of what someone who gives of their time to hike 2,180 some miles just to be in God's creation and to serve those who He brings into their midst.
I just want to say thanks to all the people that helped out this year, and I don't care how you helped, whether it was financially or by prayer. Prayer was the biggest thing for me. That impacted me directly. It was awesome. So many supporters of this hike this year. So many supporters to come. People that are pledged money for next year in support of the hike. I'd like to offer my thanks to you for this year. It was an awesome hike, and we're really looking forward to continuing this journey by having more through hikers on the trail and some section hikers. And thank you for your support.
Our chaplaincy program is an attempt to minister to people where they are, to go where they are, and to immerse the church's presence into the life stream of the Appalachian Trail through hikers. To be a minister, to be a friend, to be an ambassador of grace to a people who may not otherwise come to a knowledge of God's love for them and of the sacrifice that He made for them. So again, we see a problem in that people do not come to us. Our response then is to go to where they are.
At the end of next year, when I finish this hike and come back home, I will consider this hike a success if I have fellow hikers that I've come in contact with who remember me, who have positive thoughts about our connection and our relationship on the trail. And if some of those people have discovered a closer relationship with God because of our connection, that will be a very positive reinforcement that all this effort was worth every one of the 5 million steps that are going to be taken to reach the end of the trail. And it's not the end of the trail that marks the end of my hike. It's the lives that get touched along the way and where those lives go next year and the year after and the year after that. That's what's really going to determine how successful this hike was.